I said to God, as I walked away from the grave of a young person, so why didn't you do something? What are you going to do for this grieving family? As usual, no answer. So I said to God, as I left the room of a man who had just had a bad diagnosis, why did you let that happen? And how are you going to help him now? Same old, same old. No answer. I said to God when I visited a woman who had chronic health problems and needed constant rides to treatment but lived alone, how will you help her? What are you going to do for her? Can't you do something? And I heard nothing. Well, finally I lost patience. One day after leaving the hospital or the cemetery or whatever it was, I shook my fist at the heavens and I said, "You do something about these problems." And a voice came back to me saying, "You do something." What makes you think I can solve all the problems in the world? What makes you think I can heal all the diseases? What makes you think I can drive all the patients to their treatments, cook the meals for invalids, provide companionship for those who have relatives who must be cared for 24 hours a day, comfort all the bereaved? What makes you think I can do that? Is there one shred of evidence in all of human history that I can do it? Why do you think I can? I said, "Because you're God, for God's sake." And God said, "Yeah, I'm always there, and I'm trying, but I can't do it alone. Yes, I care, but there are millions of people in need, and I'm just one. You know it because you say it. Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. God is one. So you do something. You help me attack that to-do list that will never be complete. And for you, it's finite. For me, it's infinite. You help me with what is eternally my unfinished business." So I did something. I did what I do. I gave a sermon. And I said to you and to people like you on a Rosh Hashanah Eve, let's do something. And for 30 years now, you and people like you have been doing what God's self, couldn't do alone. And by the way, what a sermon from me couldn't do either. And what all the theology in the world couldn't do. I said, let's do something. And 10 days later, on Yom Kippur, 200 of you had volunteered. Deanna Kaminsky and later Nadine King volunteered to lead us. Committees are usually 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, unless you're in Congress. But they have never let go of that commitment. Rabbi Jordan Parr, then Rabbi Connie Golden, and most recently Rabbi Cantor Kaplan guided us from the staff. And as the Bible would say, you brought forth meals and visits, notes and phone calls, rides and companionship, way more than God could do alone or I could do with the sermon. And you changed lives, one person, one family, one household at a time. You changed lives in a way that no institution can do it. Even God said, I can't either. Now, God said to me after that sermon, 30 years from now, in October of 2013, you're going to be celebrating the 30th anniversary. And the Torah portion that Shabbat will tell you what I did, said God. In the portion, Abraham has just circumcised himself, and I know that causes shudders among those of us of the male persuasion. Abraham has just circumcised himself, and in that portion, I came down to visit Abraham, to tell him he would have a son, to tell him about Sodom and Gomorrah. But the rabbis were right. They said, I came down in person, as it were, to do the mitzvah of Bikur Cholim, of visiting the sick. I visited my friend Abraham in his recovery. So you see, now you know. I was the first volunteer, said God, to do God's unfinished business. And God went on, we're partners. I can't do it without you, and you can't do it without me. We can't make the world perfect. No disease, no loss, no poverty, no sadness. But we can make a difference. So tell all those people, the ones that are there 30 years from now, and all who came before them, tell them, said God, I'm proud to be one of them, a volunteer doing my unfinished business. And now I've told you, God is proud of you. You should be proud of yourselves. And by way of expressing that pride for all of us, I ask that Deanna Kaminsky and Nadine King will come up to share in a special blessing. And now that they are here, they who have led God's unfinished business for so long, let me ask all of you who have been chairs within God's unfinished business to please rise. I want to give a second for people to look around, because this is a group that brings enormous pride because they have brought enormous mitzvah and gemilut chasadim, acts of loving kindness. And now I'd like for everybody who has ever been a volunteer in God's unfinished business to please rise. And you represent so many more, not just who might not have been here tonight because they're elsewhere in their lives, but so many more whose lives have ended in this world, but whose memory tonight lives on. And I ask Deanna and Nadine to lead us in this blessing on page 17.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those here who've risen today to the honor of the omnipresent and to the honor of the Torah as they fill their hands with the holy work of caring for others. And by this merit, may they be granted life and kept from all trouble and affliction, and from every harm or sickness. And may they find blessing and success in all their labors, along with all of Israel, all their brothers and their sisters. And let us say, Amen.